It is Wednesday, September 16th of 2020. And there was a big Apple announcement yesterday. Or was there? Today on Guy's Daily Drive. Bam. And good morning. Yesterday, September 15th, was the big Apple announcement. Originally, they'd scheduled like a 2-hour block for this event, which is kind of misleading. It ended up being about an hour, but to say ahead of time, oh yeah, we're gonna reserve this 2-hour block, I don't know why they did that, because they must have known easily a few weeks ago, before they made the announcement. They probably had all the segments cut, most of the effects done, and they still said it was a 2-hour, blocked off for a 2-hour event. Now that, of course, is no, especially if everything is being done ahead of time, there's no indication of how long the event is actually going to be. But it is misleading. So the event was called Time Flies, which, to practically everyone who talks about these things, meant that it was mostly going to be about the Apple Watch, which is weird because the Apple Watch doesn't typically get that much attention. And it's been around now for a number of years. And other than its initial release, you don't really hear too much about it. It's usually bundled in, whatever announcements they're going to make for the watch, it's usually bundled in with a bunch of other stuff. It's like sandwiched. It's sandwiched in there somewhere. So there was some typical, we here at Apple really love the fact that people are doing creative things and blah, 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 blah. It's the handshaking and pats on the back for their customers has become kind of a staple of a lot of the Apple events. I mean, even Steve Jobs used to do it somewhat, but not to the level that Tim Cook and some of the people that they choose for announcements do. And, okay, fine. I think the message that they're trying to convey is we're not just a $2 trillion plus company. We're your friends. But, they're not our friends. They're a $2 trillion plus company because they make stuff that people like. And so they have this event, and the watch is supposed to be the main focus of it. And they come out and they talk about the watch. Of course, they're going to the Watch 6, and it's the best watch ever. It's a wonderful watch. Oh my God. The things that this watch can do will just astound you. And yeah, some of the things that it does is kind of cool. It can measure blood oxygen levels, and of course all the other health stuff that it has done before. I have a Series 5. Prior to that, I had a Series 3. And because I'm not the kind of guy that just rushes out and gets whatever the latest thing is that Apple releases, I won't be getting a Series 6. don't really see the point. And until they come out with a watch that can completely do everything, or most, the 90% of the things that I use my phone for, including making calls and messages and all the rest of that, I'm not gonna buy the latest and the greatest. I just don't see the point. But they did make a couple of announcements in regards to the watch that was kind of interesting. Number one, they're keeping the Series 3 watch as the low-end watch, which is, I guess, not a huge surprise, because I don't think there was that much difference between the Series 4 and the Series 5. So I guess they just decided if we're going to have a low end, it still needs to be under whatever the high end was on the last release. So the Series 3 is still the low end watch to get. And then they came out with like a mid-range watch. And in a fit of originality, they called it the Apple Watch SE. The Apple Watch SE. Yeah, so the Apple Watch SE. And honestly, if you don't have an Apple Watch and you're thinking about getting one, the SE, for all I'm making kind of fun of its name, is probably the one that most people would find to be good enough for their needs. If I was still on my Series 3, I would probably consider getting the SE. I did kind of the same thing with the phone. I was on the iPhone 8, and when they made the announcement for the new iPhone SE at the price point that they were delivering it, and with how much they were going to give me for my iPhone 8, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll do that. Because the top of the line phone for the SE line, or SE model, cost $550, and they were giving me $249, I think, $250, something like that, for my 8 Plus. So it was like, yeah, okay, I'll make that leap. And I've been very happy with the iPhone SE. It's not the biggest, and it's certainly smaller than my 8 Plus. But once I got used to the smaller size, it's not really been an issue. I kind of like my iPhone SE. Not going to get a 12. Not based on what we know about it right now, anyway. There was no iPhone announcements at all. None. Which kind of surprised me. I thought that they would at least make a casual mention of it, but they didn't. Now, the other thing that they announced was a new iPad Air. And surprisingly, the iPad Air is pretty feature-rich for how much they want for it. And if I was buying a new iPad, which I'm not, because I just got the 2018 iPad Pro, which I really like, the iPad Air would probably be the one that I would get. Putting no shame on the current iPad Pro or the iPad, but Apple has a pretty decent line for iPads. I've complained in the past that they seem to have too many models, but I think what they currently have is a good mix of the new and the old. If you still like Touch ID, you can get the original iPad. If you still like Touch ID, you can get the iPad Air. It has its touch button at the top with the power button, if you really miss that, though you can certainly do all the same things with the iPad Air as far as the user interface that you could with other iPads. And so that was basically it for the iPads and the watches. The other thing they mentioned was they're releasing iOS 14, iPadOS 14, and watchOS 7, which makes sense since the new watch is coming out today, with no iPhones in sight. That was a huge surprise to me. I figured that if they didn't have the phone ready, that they were going to hold off on releasing iOS 14 until the phone was ready, because the new operating system is a big draw to get the new phone. And if they release the operating system for all the phones that are capable of running it, mine included, the SE, then a lot of people would probably say, you know what, this is good enough. I don't need a new iPhone, and I'll just run the latest version of iOS on the phone that I already have. And I was wrong. It hurts me to say that, because both Warren Sklar and David Ginsburg, and I'm sure I'll catch a bunch of crap from them tonight. I'm not sure what this is saying. Oh, did it fail? Oh, don't tell me this failed. Well, I'm going to keep going just in case, because it looks like something's going on. Hold on, I can't see what this says. I'm just gonna keep going. So a little break in the action there. So that was a big surprise, that all the latest versions of Apple's operating systems, except for the Mac OS, came out now instead of when the phone was ready. Big shocker for me. Now, the other thing that they did, and this shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone, there was a lot of talk about it coming into the event, was bundling their services. The Apple, what do they call it? Apple One bundles. They have 3 different ones at different price points. And of course, it includes music and Apple TV Plus and News Plus, and surprisingly, it also includes iCloud, which to me was kind of a surprise. I thought that might have been something they would have kept separately, but they didn't. So the big difference between the first 2 bundles is the amount of iCloud storage you get for how much you spend. And then the third bundle basically has everything. It's got their new, I forgot to talk about fitness, but that was one of the things they talked about with the watch. It's some kind of new service with live instructors to help you get motivated to keep fit. Still not enough to get me to buy the watch. So the top tier, which is the one I'm getting, it's Apple News, which I don't currently have, 2 terabytes of iCloud storage, which I do have, Apple Music, which I do have, and Apple TV Plus, which I do have, plus fitness, and that's all for $30, which I was already spending on the various Apple services that I use. So this was like the equivalent of getting everything I already have, along with the Fitness Plus, or whatever they're calling it, and News Plus. And other family members can use it as well, up to 5 different family members. So, hooray! All for about what I was spending already, with all the extra bonuses. So, that's great. But there was no phone, there was no silicone-based Macs announced, not even talked about. So all in all, honestly, to me the highlight was the Apple One services. And then I guess after that, the new iPad Air. But the watch, you know, to have it focus around the watch just seemed kind of dull. I don't know why they did that, but they did. So that in a nutshell, in the time it takes me to drive to work, is my thoughts on the Apple event that happened yesterday. If you'd like to get a hold of me and tell me, Guy, you are nuts about stuff, that other stuff, send me an email, guy@mymac.com. You can reach me on the Twitters. I am MacParrot and VertShark over there on the Twitters. You can see all of the audios and videos, contents that I do by going to vertshark.com. You can go over to YouTube, look up VertShark, do a search for VertShark, and you can see all my videos over there. And if you do that over on YouTube, make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you miss it the first time, like, share, subscribe. It's so easy. Bam, hit that notification bell. Bam, like that video and stuff. If you'd like to help sponsor the things that I do, including the purchase of audio equipment that I don't really need, you can go to patreon.com/MacParrot. You can go to ko-fi.com/MacParrot. Do one-time donation. You can also do a one-time donation through PayPal, paypal.me/MacParrot. And that is going to do it for today. Thank you all so very, very much for joining me today on Guy's Daily Drive. And as soon as I pull into this parking space, there we go. Oh, smooth as butter. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.